What would your scars say about you if they could talk? Not just the ones on your skin, but the invisible wounds you carry deep within. Every failure, every rejection, every closed door. How many times have you felt like you couldn't take it anymore? Maybe right now you're stuck in a cycle where no effort feels like enough, where every step seems to lead nowhere. But what if, instead of hiding those scars, you use them as your greatest weapon? Maybe you've been rejected from a job you desperately wanted, or lost someone you thought was irreplaceable. Or perhaps it's something only you know about, something that still weighs on you. This is part of you, but it doesn't define who you are, and you're not alone. While others try to erase their flaws, you have the chance to turn them into something extraordinary. Think about it. Your scars tell a story no one else can. And that's exactly what can lead you to a life with more strength, clarity, and purpose. Today, we're going to turn those difficult stories into a map that will guide you to where you want to be. What you're about to hear could be the difference between carrying your scars as a burden or transforming them into your greatest strength. So, what will it be? Will you keep running from what shaped you? Or will you finally use it to your advantage? How many times have you felt like you're doing everything right, yet nothing seems to change? It's like carrying an invisible weight, a burden no one else can see, but it's there, dragging you down with every step. That weight isn't your scars, it's how you see them. Maybe you've been told you're not good enough, that you failed, or that you'll never rise above. But what no one told you is that this weight can be the force that propels you to something far greater. Maybe you see people around you thriving, moving forward while you're stuck in a never-ending loop. The truth is, those people have their own scars too, but the difference lies in how they handle them. Think about it. How many times has the fear of repeating a mistake stopped you from trying? The rejection you felt? The failure that scarred you? All of it doesn't mean you're incapable, it means you're trying. Because if you feel that weight, it's proof you're fighting. It's proof there's something inside you that won't settle for less than the life you deserve. Here's an example. Think of Thomas Edison, who failed over 1,000 times before inventing the light bulb. He could have seen those failures as unbearable, but he chose to use them as lessons, as fuel to keep going. And you? What's holding you back today? Is it the fear of making the same mistakes? The weight of what others might think? Or the idea that you're not enough? Now it's your turn. Take that weight, that pain, and transform it into something that pushes you forward. Think of a challenge that left its mark on you. Write down what you learned from it. It could be something small or something that still haunts you. When you stop fighting the weight and start using it as fuel, something incredible happens. Because in the end, it's not the weight that breaks you, it's how you carry it. So, what are you going to do? Let it paralyze you or turn it into the force that takes you further than you ever imagined? Why do we run so much from what shapes us? It seems easier to hide the scars, avoid painful memories, and ignore past mistakes. But the truth is, all of that is part of who you are. It's these tough moments that have the power to transform you. The problem isn't failing, it's how you see it. Are you using these experiences as lessons or as chains holding you back? Think of life like the growth of a seed. It has to be buried, placed under dark soil, and suffocated by its weight before it can sprout. It seems harsh, but it's necessary. Just like the seed, every failure, rejection, and loss in your life has been part of that growth process. It's not the end, it's the beginning. All you need to do now is stop running from what you feel. Stop denying what has already happened. Acceptance isn't about settling, it's about using what you have to create something bigger. Look at Nelson Mandela. He spent 27 years in prison. He could have seen those years as a sentence that destroyed his life, but he chose to use them as preparation to lead an entire nation. Just like him, there are closer examples to your everyday life. Think of someone who lost a job and turned that failure into motivation to start their own business. Or someone who faced a failed relationship but used that pain to understand their boundaries and build something better. It's not about what happened to you, it's about what you do with it. Now it's your turn. Choose an experience you've been avoiding, something that still hurts or weighs on you. Write down what that experience taught you. It may seem simple, but this practice is the first step in turning what paralyzes you into strength. Because accepting your failures is the greatest act of courage you can do for yourself. And remember, acceptance is the starting point. Without it, you'll never see the power that's already within you. So, what will you do with what life has given you? Everyone has scars. Some are visible on the skin. Others are deeply etched in the soul. The difference between staying stuck in the past and thriving lies in how you view those scars. Will you carry them as a burden, or will you use them as fuel to go further? Remember, scars aren't signs of weakness. They're proof of survival. How many times have you let a mistake or failure define who you are? Maybe you gave up on something because it went wrong before, or hesitated to try again out of fear of failing. But that experience wasn't the end, it was a lesson. Just as steel is forged in fire, you're shaped by your scars. Today, take a look at your marks, whether they're physical or emotional, and ask yourself, how has this made me stronger? Answering this question is the first step toward transforming your pain into progress. Write down what you've learned from the experiences that left the deepest marks on you. Don't underestimate the power of this exercise. It could completely change how you see yourself. If this message helps you see your scars as your greatest strength, subscribe to the channel. Here we build a journey of transformation together, where challenges turn into achievements and learning. Your subscription is a way of showing gratitude for this content and a commitment to your own growth. Let's grow together. Your scars are proof that you're here, stronger than you ever imagined. Think about it. What do they say about you? They aren't there by chance. Each one is a testimony to something you faced, a reminder that you survived moments that could have broken you. You might hide them, but what if you saw them as symbols of your strength instead? Maybe you're used to seeing your scars as failures, something to forget. But just like the rings of a tree tell the story of storms and winds it endured, your scars tell a story. They're not just wounds. They're milestones of resilience and growth. And just like the tree that stands tall, you're still here. Despite everything, you're standing. What's the most powerful mark you carry? The one that defines you, that shaped who you are. Share in the comments the lesson it taught you. Your story could be the motivation someone else needs right now. Think of your scars as invisible medals. Each one represents a battle you won and a lesson no one can take away from you. Today, instead of looking away from them, try something different. Face them. Ask yourself, what have these marks taught me? How have they shaped the person I am now? Because in the end, your scars are the lines that write your story. And through them, you can inspire others to see their own strength. Have you noticed how life never stops testing us? There will always be new challenges, new pains, and new scars. No matter how much you achieve or grow, the next obstacle is always ahead. If life tests you every day, what have you learned from those trials? This might sound discouraging, but it's actually one of life's greatest gifts. Because every challenge is a new opportunity to discover how far you can go. It's not about reaching a final destination. There's no finish line, no ultimate trophy. The real victory lies in who you become along the way. Think of the journey as climbing a mountain. Every step is exhausting, but the view becomes clearer and more breathtaking the higher you go. Each time life knocks you down, it gives you a chance to rise stronger, more resilient, and more determined. Now reflect on what life has already taught you. What moment in your life made you face a challenge and find strength you didn't know you had? Identify a small step you can take today toward your purpose. It doesn't matter how big the challenge is, every step is progress. Because the journey isn't about controlling everything, it's about finding meaning in every choice, every fall, and every victory. You don't need to know exactly where this journey will take you. All you need to do is keep moving forward. And remember, the scars you gain along the way aren't a burden. They're proof that you're living. The journey has no end, but it will always have purpose. Every mark you carry is proof that you've overcome. They're not weaknesses. They're reminders of how resilient you are. Think about everything you've faced so far, the tough moments, the falls, the doubts, and yet here you are. Every scar is a symbol of strength, of learning, and of courage to keep going. 2. Life will never be perfect, but it's in imperfections that we find purpose. Your scars don't limit you, they propel you forward. The real question is, what will you do with that strength now? How can you use the lessons of the past to build an even greater future? Write the next chapter of your story with pride and determination. If this video inspired you, click on the video playing on your screen now. It's another piece of this journey of overcoming and motivation. Stay with us and discover how far you can go. And tell me, what have you learned from your scars so far? Share your story and inspire others. Your story is still being written.